All right, Steve Denys, Director of Market and Product Development, Mazek Seeds, joined by Agronomy Lead Extraordinaire, Henry Prinzen. Henry, getting into spring here. Lots of discussion this winter again around sulfur and sulfur on different crops. What's your take? What should we be thinking about as we go into spring here?
Yeah, obviously we want to make sure we put our sulfur where it matters this year. We have a little bit of uncertainty in the fertilizer world, but we want to make sure we use our fertilizer in the best case scenario and use it in the right place, right placement, right timing, that kind of story, right? So when we look at beans, what have we learned? If you're on one of those light CEC sands, maybe you have some cyst pressure, SCN. We've seen some SCN, SDS kind of interactions with sulfur. That might be a great option to put some sulfur out at plant or pre-plant for your beans. Maybe that's some dry AMS is usually what the ticket, some sort of sulfate product. We don't see quite the success with, the thiosulfate because it's not in the sulfate form. We need to get that sulfur there right off the bat to kind of start nodulation on beans. But when we think about the other crops, wheat, what have we learned on wheat? Sulfur early. So once we get out there, obviously we've had a little difficulty this spring with some of the wet weather, but let's get that AMS on or ATS, whatever sulfur source. Let's get it on here shortly with that, if you were splitting your first app, but at this point, probably your only app of nitrogen, but let's get that sulfur out on it too. And corn, corn, I think we want it in the starter blend, or maybe it's some sort of upfront. Maybe we're feeding it all season long with some sulfur, but especially on beans and wheat, we need to make sure we start out strong with sulfur.
Very good. So think about the beginning and make sure that we're off to the right start.
Absolutely, Steve.
And I finished my sulfur on the wheat with my nitrogen a few days ago, so we're good to go.
Perfect.
All right, that's our AgroMinute for today.